Alright, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of trig, talking about some application problems and solving some right triangles. So jumping right into the problem, this one says that a ramp leading to the freeway overpass is 200 feet long and rises 30 feet. What is the angle of elevation of the ramp to the freeway? So first off, I'm going to draw this out. So we have a ramp leading up into a freeway. And it says that this ramp is 200 feet long. So let's just say that this is the ground level then. It also gives us that this ramp is 30 feet high here. So this height is going to be 30 feet. It said the length is 200 feet. And it wants to know what is the angle of elevation of the ramp to the freeway. So angle of elevation is going to be this right over here. Let's go ahead and just call this triangle ABC that we get that forms from this. So for this particular problem, we're going to want to use a little bit of our trig properties in order to find that angle of elevation. So first off, when it comes to our angles here, but when it comes to our trig properties that we're looking at, so we're looking at sine, cosine, and tangent. Or what I like to use, so toa, is just a way to remember what is sine, cosine, tangent in reference to. So, which stands for our sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, whereas tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent is what those stand for. They kind of just help us with which function we're going to use, just depending on what information we know and are given in our problem. So since we're going to solve for angle A, the angle of elevation, we need to figure out, are we using sine, cosine, or tangent then? And that comes in reference to the information that we have. Since we're solving for the angle of elevation, we want to use the two sides of the given information. They gave us 30 feet, they gave us 200 feet. So we need to figure out, what do these represent? Are these opposites, hypotenuse, or adjacents? And that comes in reference to our angle. So here's angle A. 30 feet is opposite angle A, right? So from angle A, directly opposite that angle, we have 30. So 30 is our opposite. This side down over here, the ground level, this would have been adjacent. So adjacent right next to, right, would be this side. Remember, it cannot be this side over here. It cannot be the diagonal, because the diagonal in a right triangle is always the hypotenuse. So this 200 feet right here is the hypotenuse. If we knew this side over here, that would then be the adjacent. So which function uses opposite and hypotenuse? So out of these, opposite, hypotenuse, that's going to be our sine. Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we're going to find sine of angle A, and that's going to equal to 30 over 100. So we can type this directly into the calculator. Now, keep in mind, we don't want sine of 30 over 100. That's not what we're doing here. We are solving for this angle. And in order to do that, if you typed into your calculator sine of 30 over 100, this would not be correct. This is not the function that you're doing. We are solving for the angle, so this is actually going to be an inverse sine function. So depending on how your calculator is, sine A, or to do an inverse sine on your calculator, you could see arc sine, or you can see the sine inverse function. Both of these mean the same exact thing, but we need the inverse function. It's what's going to allow us to solve, to actually get the angle here instead. Okay, so depending on your calculator, use either arc sine or use inverse sine, and you'll do that. So for my particular calculator, I'm typing in arc sine of 30 over 100. Do it in degree mode, since we are finding the angle here. And when you type that in, you should get, I'm rounding this to the hundredths spot. So you should get 8.63 degrees when you type that into the calculator. So that means this angle of elevation here, angle A, is equal to 8.63 degrees. That is the angle of elevation onto the freeway there. Otherwise, that's it for this video.